we call this anymore. Appreciate you joining us, Coach. Go ahead. I mean, big announcement on at least the starting day and time today, and maybe we can talk a little bit about getting back on the field.
Thank you.
After day off.
Thanks a lot. As Kent said, we're really, first off, let's go to the real news today. We've been waiting to see exactly when we would start the football season. We knew, of course, who our opponent was. So to be the first game to start Big Ten play is pretty exciting. Whenever you get a chance to play at night, that's a good thing also. Last year we had a great game against the Badgers. Looking forward to playing them again. But anyway, we're just pumped up to know now when we start our season, and we can really gear toward, a week from Friday, teeing it up in Madison. We're back on the practice field today. And our prep for Wisconsin started today also. So good day for Illinois football. Take your question.
Okay, we'll start Bob Osmussen. You get to lead off today. Go ahead, Bob. You're muted, Bob. There you go.
I did. I'm good. Sorry about that, Coach. Technology is coming. Coach, how's Jake Hanson looked? I know he came off a tough deal last year. Just how he's been. Where do you expect his game to go this year? I know there's great expectations for him. What do you think about it? Where he at?
Yeah, first I think he's one of the top returning defensive players in college ball. He can do it all. He was really having a year like no one has had before as far as taking the ball away last year. But injuries did force him to miss some games. But since then, he's been healthy, hasn't missed a day, in great shape right now. His role has changed on our football team, I might add. Playing the middle linebacker position now. All the calls go through him. So we definitely have another coach on the field. Jake pretty much knows what I'm going to call in every situation, and expecting big things from him.
Do you have to watch what you do with him in practice, or is he full go all the time? Because I know that's the kind of guy he is.
He's full go all the time. But we watch the reps for a lot of guys. I mean, you have to first, then define what you want to do, with some players in training camp. We know about Jake. It was more about at the Mike linebacker position, developing depth as much as anything. So Jake he hasn't missed a rep that we wanted him to take, and excited about the year.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
Okay, Jeremy, Joey on deck.
Hello, good morning. Bob Lugashevsky is one of your first hires, and I'm wondering just what has been his impact on your program and in the way he operates your special teams unit?
Well, on my part, just total trust in what, Coach Lugashevsky says, how he does it, believing in him as a man. His influence on our guys just checks off every box. There's more than checking off the box. He's deep. Again, I lean on him quite a bit, and he's done a super job while he's been here.
And you've mentioned some guys in the mix for returners. I don't know if you can mention those guys again, but what are the traits you look for in a punt returner and a kick returner?
Well, first off, it's about, if you want to be a great returner, you got to, first be able to catch the football. So a guy with consistent hands. Once you catch the football, we need to be able, I've made the statement, we need to get more out of our return game. So somebody that can go the distance. And we feel like we have a few guys that can turn into playmakers for us. That is an area that we have to get more production. It's kind of simple as that, and I believe we will. Without going into detail, the guys that will be doing it for us, we like our options back there this year.
Thanks, Lovie.
You're welcome.
All right, Joey, you're up. Alec on deck. Bob Rosenthal in the hole.
Hey, Lovie, good morning. We talked, I think, last week about Isaiah Gay and him, putting on some muscle over the course of the last few months, probably beyond that. But Owen Carney, a couple photos, he looked quite a bit bigger too. What have you seen from him, and what kind of are you looking for out of him this year?
Well, when we say putting on some muscle, First off, Isaiah Gay is probably pound for pound the strongest guy on our team. And I very seldom talk to the guys about putting on weight, strength. I talk a lot to them about that. And Owen Carney is one of the stronger guys on our team also. He has good speed for his position, bright, very smart. He's got a lot of things going. In the past, he'll tell you he's had some opportunities to make some plays he hasn't made, but I just don't see that happening now. Excited about the year he's getting ready to have.
Thanks, Lovie.
You're welcome.
Hey, Coach. Good morning. Thanks for doing this. I guess a question I have is similar to Joey's in terms of the defensive line. After a little bit of practices these past couple of weeks, what have you kind of seen from some of these young guys who have started to get into the backfield a little bit more off the edge in terms of pass rush?
Well, we've seen that a little bit. It's just kind of hard when you going against each. Just keep in mind this as you evaluating defensive linemen, very seldom can you go out full speed on quarterbacks. Believing nobody is going to touch Brandon Peters in practice, anything like that. You have to protect the quarterbacks, so you never really get a chance to see defensive linemen fully finish a play an awful lot. Now, we had live work Saturday was our first really good live work where we did do some of that. But what we've seen is, Seth Coleman's, Keith Randolph's, those are good players that we're expecting to really take a big jump, and I think they'll do that. We've talked about Isaiah Gay, Owen Carney's of the world, but we need those seconds and third. Another guy, Zeke, we kind of need to step up too. Trying to think of some other guys. And then inside players, we kind of mentioned a little bit too. Johnny Newton is a player that we're really expecting big things from.
Thanks, Coach. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Coach, one of the biggest differences between the 2018 defense and the 2019 defense was it seemed that the rotations got a lot tighter. In 2018, starters maybe played 70% of the snaps. Some starters that looked like last year played up to 90% of the snaps. Is that part of your philosophy in taking over the defense? Is that part of your call that you want to keep the starters out there more, or was that just an adjustment based on the players you had, or where'd that come from?
I think you look at each team, you see what you have, and the guys that play are the ones you think you need to play to win. Simple as that. If you don't like the depth as much, you'll play the frontline guys, the starters, a little bit more. That was probably the case. In an ideal world, we want to play at least a couple guys at most positions. And as far as the defensive line is concerned, we would like to rotate them quite often. So we'll play. If we feel like we can win with a player, he'll play. We're still working through that a little bit. Don't know how that'll all shake out, but that's the case.
And with your back seven, do you feel like you're getting a little more depth, or do you think it might look like last year where the starters are getting, the vast majority?
I think you look at most teams, the starters are going to get the majority of the reps. NFL starters play most of the time. College the same way. So for the most part, we're going to play our starters the majority of the time, and we'll play a few other guys if we feel like there's not a big drop off. And that's how I was looking for.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, Coach. That's everybody who was in the lineup has had a chance. So thank you. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.
See you later.
Okay, we've got James